A grieving family that lost a husband and a father was subjected to even more trauma by the Department of Arts and Culture in Gauteng. They made them stop all funeral preparations and told them that they would take over, only to leave them high and dry.
Carlos Djedje is celebrated globally as the father of African reggae music. Djedje started performing in the early 1970s at the height of apartheid. Singing in protest against the atrocities, he endured constant harassment from the security police, death threats, and the banning of many of his songs. In the democratic dispensation, he continued to use art as a vehicle for activism, an avenue to educate youngsters, and a tool to empower communities, until he succumbed to cancer in December 2023. His family started making funeral arrangements only for the Department of Arts and Culture in Gauteng to halt their plans and take over the preparations on account of Djedje's legendary status. The family was informed that government would bury the icon and foot the bill. And indeed, Djedje received a heartfelt memorial and a dignified send-off.
Celebrating the life of a well-traveled and respected African reggae pioneer, Carlos Djedje used reggae music to expose the injustices of apartheid and other social ills, earning him the recognition of the Jamaican government in 2017.
But after the guests left, the department reneged, plunging the family deep into debt. For almost 2 years now, funeral service providers have been harassing the family, demanding their money, rightfully so. The family tried to pay what they could, but the almost 250,000 rand debt incurred by the department has proved too hefty. Djedje's wife and daughter say they would have buried their loved one within their means if the department had not stepped in, making massive demands and promising complete financial support. They say they have yet to heal because of this nightmare.
Other government officials, then they came and then they introduced themselves. They said, no, we do understand you don't, this is how we're going to do it. So he said, no, they're gonna make a state funeral. They're gonna call all the relevant people, and then they will let us know how the procedures goes. And I'm gonna make a conference call with all the service providers of the government, which they must make sure they must pay for the funeral, what's gonna go on. I must let them know how far we are. So every conversation that we did in terms of with the government officials, which we have conversation of the service providers, which has to be paid. I make sure that I ask him, like, can I record it, so that I know that who we're talking to, so that we know who we have to look for. So everything was arranged nicely. We give them the catering amount. The funeral parlor came and they said they're there with us. Then we give them all the quotations. Then we made a conference call, and it was a conference call from, sometimes it will happen in the morning, sometimes during the day, even sometimes at 9 o'clock at night when I have to sleep. And remember, regardless of everything which was happening, I'm still in pain because I lost my dad. And on top of it, I'm still grieving, and I still have to make sure my mom is fine.
A community leader says the department is in the habit of inconveniencing family members of artists during moments of bereavement.
Because it's not only this family, there's a rumor that there are other families that have been subjected to this kinds of insults and injustice.
A community activist says the department was arrogant and inconsiderate during the ordeal.
I was so devastated when he passed on. Now with the whole drama, the MEC was there. I was organizing the memorial program. They gave nice speeches there. He even acknowledged that he knew Carlos some years ago. I remember they brought some catering on the day of the memorial service, and they bought Nando's. And I told Shane that, but you know, who we are dealing with, the Rasta community. How can you buy? You could see that it's things that were just organized quickly.
After having ducked and dived for almost 2 years after Djedje was laid to rest at Heroes Acre in West Park Cemetery, the department has now agreed to meet the family.
This is where Carlos Djedje has been buried. Now, while he may be resting in peace, his family is still in turmoil, demanding answers 2 years after his death.